Book 1. The Challenge of Justice. The dialogue begins in the house of Cephalus, amidst the hum of ordinary life. Socrates, ever the gadfly, turns a casual conversation into an existential examination. What is justice? Cephalus speaks of honesty and debt repayment, his answers practical and safe like the man himself. But Socrates, unsatisfied, probes deeper. When Thrasymachus bursts onto the scene, the mood shifts. Justice, he declares, is nothing more than the will of the powerful. It's not a virtue but a tool, a weapon wielded by rulers to keep the masses in line. The room feels charged, as if everyone knows they've just crossed into dangerous territory. Socrates pushes back, though not with certainty, but with questions that begin to unravel Thrasymachus' argument, and, by extension, our own complacency about power and fairness. Book 2. The Birth of the Ideal City. Justice is too vast to pin down in a single conversation. To understand it, Socrates suggests building something larger, a city in speech. The simplest of cities emerges first, one based on basic needs, food, shelter, and companionship. But Glaucon, ever ambitious, insists on a luxury city, one with wealth, culture, and armies. This city will need rulers, warriors, and workers, each with their distinct roles. It becomes clear that this isn't just about cities, it's about us. How do we as individuals balance our appetites, our ambitions, and our need for order? The city becomes a mirror, reflecting both our potential for harmony and the seeds of our discord. Book 3. The Guardians and Their Education. The city's rulers, the guardians, must embody wisdom and restraint. But how do you mold such people? Socrates envisions a rigorous education steeped in music, poetry, and physical training, not for entertainment but for shaping character. The guardians must be shielded from stories that glorify greed or fear, exposed only to those that instill courage and justice. This book is not merely about education, but about the soul's malleability. What we consume shapes who we are, and what we become shapes the world around us. The guardian's education feels at once inspiring and terrifying, a reminder of the power and peril of influence. Book 4. The Structure of Justice. The city begins to settle into form. Each class, rulers, auxiliaries, and producers, finds its place, and in this balance, Socrates identifies justice. It is specialization, each part doing its proper work without interfering with the others. This same principle applies to the soul, with reason as the ruler, spirit as its enforcer, and appetite as the obedient servant. Justice, Socrates suggests, is not about action but alignment, a kind of internal and external symphony. The image is beautiful but brittle. One can't help but wonder what happens when the music falters. Book 5. Equality and Radical Ideas. Here, Plato ventures into dangerous territory. To preserve the harmony of the city, the guardians must renounce personal property, wealth, and even traditional family structures. Men and women are to be equals in education and governance, a radical notion for the time. Marriages are arranged for the collective good, and children are raised communally. The proposals are unsettling, even dystopian, but they force us to confront uncomfortable truths. How much of our personal freedom are we willing to sacrifice for the sake of justice, and at what cost? Book 6. The Philosopher King. The heart of Plato's vision emerges. Only philosophers, those who grasp the eternal truths beyond the shifting shadows of opinion, are fit to rule. The Philosopher King embodies wisdom and selflessness, a beacon of reason in a chaotic world. But Socrates knows this ideal ruler is rare, perhaps even impossible. The idea feels aspirational and tragic, a reminder that the best leaders may be those least likely to seek power. Book 7. The Allegory of the Cave. Few images are as haunting as the cave. Humanity, Socrates argues, is like prisoners chained in darkness, mistaking shadows for reality. Education is not a passive process, but a painful turning of the soul toward the light, toward the truth. The sun, representing the form of the good, illuminates all things, but the journey to it is fraught with resistance and confusion. This book is not just about knowledge, but about liberation, the struggle to see clearly, even when it hurts. Book 8. The Decline of the Ideal. Nothing perfect lasts. Socrates charts the inevitable decay of the city, moving from harmony of aristocracy to the ambition-driven timocracy, the greed of oligarchy, the chaos of democracy, and finally the despotism of tyranny. Each stage reflects a corresponding corruption of the soul, where reason loses its grip and appetite takes over. The arc is bleak, but rings true, a reminder of how fragile justice can be. Book 9. The Tyrant's Soul. The tyrant is the natural endpoint of injustice. Consumed by desire, he is enslaved to his passions, living in constant fear and paranoia. In contrast, the just soul, though less outwardly glamorous, experiences true freedom and harmony. Plato's message is stark. Injustice is not merely wrong, it is corrosive, destroying the very fabric of our humanity. Book 10. The Immortality of the Soul. Socrates ends with a cosmic vision. Through the myth of he describes the soul's immortality and its journey through cycles of judgment and rebirth. Justice, it seems, is not only a human concern but a universal one. The myth leaves us not with answers, but with a challenge, to live in alignment with the eternal truths, no matter how fleeting our lives may seem. Epilogue. The Unfinished Journey. Plato's Republic is not a map but a mirror, reflecting both the heights we might reach and the depths we must avoid. It is at once a dream and a warning, a call to build a city and a self worthy of justice. Its questions linger, unanswered but unforgettable, urging us to keep searching for the light beyond the shadows.